The NUMAC, the NCAA, and Wheaton College promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, derogatory comments, homophobic remarks, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition. Also, consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages is prohibited. And now, the singing of the national anthem to be performed by Wheaton College sophomore Emma Brown.
Emma Bradshaw wrapping up the national anthem here inside Balfour Natatorium, and we're back inside Balfour Natatorium for the first time in nearly 2 months. Wheaton College men's and women's swim and dive back for the second part of their season, and I'm great to be joined by my partner, Austin Halstead. Austin, we got a good day ahead of us.
Oh, yeah, we do. I'm very excited to see what the Lions can pull after a training trip, training very, very hard for a week. I mean, more than a week, actually. Going to Florida for a week, though. Let's see what they can do. All tired and tan, so be exciting.
Today they host Clark University, a fellow NUMAC institution. It's going to be a much shorter meet than usual today. 26 events overall. That's including both men's and women's side in both swimming and diving. And the longest you'll see all day is just that 1,000. No separate heats for a lot of the events besides the shorter events. So a quick day of swimming, but a big day looming tomorrow, senior day, starting at noon for the second consecutive year. Babson coming into town for the Wheaton College Swim and Dive Senior Day. But for today, it's Clark and Wheaton squaring off for the first meet in the second semester. And the first one since early November inside Balfour Natatorium. Both of these two teams have not swam competitively since the first week of December. Clark was at the WPI Invitational, and for Wheaton, they finished in third on the women's side and fourth on the men's side up at the Maine Collegiate Invitational in Waterville, Maine, hosted by Colby College. So hopefully no rust from both sides today, but usually that's not the case with either of these teams. Two very strong programs. First off, we'll have the women's 200-yard medley relay. Lane 1, Wheaton. Lane 2, Clark. Lane 3, 5, and 7. Also 8 represented by Wheaton. And then 2, 4, and 6 represented by the Clark University Cougars. And they're off, and we're back Part 2 of the season kicking off right now inside Balfour Natatorium on the NewMax Sports Network. Jackson Walsh and Austin Halstead here with you this afternoon.
Really nice underwaters being displayed by Hope Campbell and Reese Hartman, 2 leaders.
Hope Campbell in lane 1 for the Lions, Hartman in lane 5. And it's lane 5. Reese Hartman giving her team the lead through the first 50 into the pool, lane 5. The first year, Emma Lambert-Shimo.
Here comes Madeline.
It's Madeline Eller for the Lions in lane 3. Sitting in second place and third place, fourth place and fifth place as well, belonging to Wheaton. In all of those lanes respectively. Lane 5 still in the lead, Lily Watson swimming the third leg. Butterfly here for Watson. Watson, the junior out of Waterford, Connecticut, swimming at a very good place in lane 5. Second place still really close now for second place. Both Wheaton obviously in lanes 7 and 3. Out in 7, that's Katie Walls. Lane 3, Anna Curry. The freestyle to wrap it up here. Lane 5, Wheaton dominating. Laura Molesworth swimming the anchor. Lane 7, second place right now, Allison Kramer. But right with her in lane 3, her teammate, Megan Simone. So, not surprisingly and not showing any bit of rust, Wheaton first place, second place, third place, fourth place, and fifth place, taking the top 5 spots to kick off today's meet, and big win in the women's 200-yard medley relay. The winning time out in lane 5, 1:53.79. Second place, lane 7, anchored by Allison Kramer at 1:57.31, and third place, lane 3, 1:57.54, anchored by Megan Simone.
Yeah, Wheaton had a lot of sprinkled talent within each relay. It just helped them secure that sweep.
See if the men can have the same success. Same event this time. Just on the men's side, the 200-yard medley relay, Wheaton in lanes 3, 5, and 7. Clark in lanes 4 and 6. Wheaton lane 5 team absolutely stacked. Anton Lopez, Ben Goho, Braxton Farron, and Will Garno. Great to be back here after 2 months off. Last 2 home meets today and tomorrow, so it's going to go by quick, but sure going to be an exciting 2 days.
Yeah, looking forward to it for sure.
Whistle blows and swimmers entering the pool, the first men's event of the day, 200-yard medley relay. They're underway. Watch out for Lopez in lane 5. Lane 3, Larson will start it off for Wheaton. Lane 4, Nick Cordell for Clark. Lane 6, Rowan Compton for Clark. And lane 7 is Brody Wilson for Wheaton. Right now, Lopez in the lead here on the backstroke. Second place, lane 3, Will Larson.
Yeah, not a problem for Lopez there, even on a slower turn. Able to recover.
Lopez giving off to Ben Goho in lane 5, junior out of Lincoln, Rhode Island. Second place, lane 3, Noah Kaplan. Third place out in lane 7. That's the first year, Liam Hill. Hill out of Vestal, New York. Part of a very talented first-year class on both the men's and women's side that Coach Barrett Roberts has brought in for the 2022-2023 season.
Super solid split by Goho there, 26-6. Looking good.
Now it's Braxton Farron in lane 5 with the lead. Farron, the junior out of Walpole. And now on to the anchor in lane 5, Will Garno.
little bit of a deep relay start there for Will.
Garneau's going to cruise to a first place finish in the last 25. Second place in lane 3, anchored by Alex Minichiello. It's going to be a fight for third place between Clark and Wheaton. Clark in lane 4, anchored by Gore Bagyum. So Clark will take third with Bagyum in lane 4. Wheaton takes fourth with that team in lane 7, anchored by Luis Bonetti. Winning time in lane 5, 1:39.59 for the Wheaton College men in the 200 medley relay. Now turn it over to our two longest events of the day, the women's and then the men's 1,000 free.
Oh, okay.
In lane 2, now looking at it again, it's going to be all Wheaton here in the women's 100 free. Nobody from Clark competing in this event. So Jordan Jensen, lane 2, Maddie King, lane 3, Allie Taylor, lane 4, and Vivian Van Hollen in lane 5. In all Wheaton field here in the women's 1,000 free. Very long and grueling race. Definitely have to pace yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say almost every time, the kick is super important in this, not to waste a bunch of energy. Mid pulls are very, very important too. How much distance per stroke you're getting off your pulls. So all things to keep an eye out as we see these ladies go through 1,000.
Van Hollen in lane 5, got a half-length lead over her teammate Allie Taylor. In lane 4, Taylor, sophomore out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Widespread first-year recruiting class and the rest of the team here for Wheaton, both on the men's and women's side. As I said, 26 events today, including diving on the 1 meter and 3 meter board.
We don't have our handy dandy iPad today.
Yep,
oh, we do.
We will have a separate stream for diving. Not going to have broadcasting on that, but we'll let you know when the diving gets underway. No commentary, just video with our separate camera pointed straight into the diving well. Minute 45 into the women's 1,000 free, Van Hollen stole the lead in lane 5, trailed by Taylor, then rounding out the field. It's Jordan Jensen, then Maddie King.
You know, a little fun fact about the 1,000, if your counter drops that counter into the water, you are disqualified.
There they are right there, positioned, giving their fellow teammates how many laps to go. So it's your fun fact of the day from Austin. A little bit of time to kill here in the 1,000. Perfect time to touch upon it, considering this is the women's event right now, but this Wheaton women's squad, one of the top teams in the country, have been ranked throughout the entire season. I believe they were at 22 and now sit at 21 in the national rankings, and I wouldn't be surprised if that number continues to climb. I'm surprised it didn't climb more after their success in the first semester, but still a lot of time left here in 2023 for this season.
Yeah, it was super exciting to see what the Lady Lions could do at the main meet against all the main teams, including NESCAC teams, Bates, Bowdoin. They came in third there. So, just a great display of what they can do, not just, in the NUMAC, but just, regionally as well. And against teams, out of their conference in, you would say, more established conferences like the NESCAC and bring better, big, faster swimmers there. But it was really, really awesome to see what they could do against them. So
put on an impressive showing in that tri-meet right before the main collegiate invitational, where they took down Wesleyan and Bates, and then obviously you just said it, Austin, good success up at the main collegiate invitational the first week of December.
Yeah, and that was the first year that Wheaton was invited to that meet, because generally it's all of the main D3 teams, including Assumption and all just the Maine Maritime Academy. So it was great to see them get invited to that. Maybe connections through Barrett Roberts there, but it's great to see.
I know everybody had a great time up there, and we have action over in the diving well right now too. So if you want to tune into diving, there won't be commentary, but a very, very solid video stream pointed directly to the diving well to watch all of that action. Morgan Coughlin Doyle, Bella Barrett, Peter Byer all competing for Wheaton. And the lone diver for Clark is on the women's side, Kai Hall out of Clark University. Van Hollen stretching out her lead here in the women's 1,000 over Allie Taylor. Van Hollen in lane 5, Taylor in lane 4. Maddie King in lane 3, and Jordan Jensen. All for Wheaton. There in the women's 1,000.
Yeah, you can see the legs slowed down a tiny little bit. They're in the middle of their race right now. So just trying to conserve as much energy as possible just to finish it out. Sure, they're exhausted after many doubles.
Yeah, you talked about a lot of those double sessions down in Florida this week. I know it was a business trip, get some practice in, but could tell just based off how the swimmers talked about it and seeing all the sights and scenes down in Florida that they had a great time and enjoyed themselves as well down there.
Definitely, yeah, and it was, every year it's a great opportunity for team bonding and inclusivity within the team, so it's great to have that kind of trip in a season, to get the team back together in that sense.
First time they've been down there in 3 years too, right? Because of all COVID issues the last 2 years.
Yeah, since I went, so yeah, it's been a while.
Van Hollen still keeping that pace, in lane 5. Van Hollen, the first year out of Minnesota. Team comes from near and far. Feels like you're either from New England or somewhere out west or middle America.
Yeah.
But a very unique group geographically wise, and I just feel like it's a really cool aspect of this team.
Yeah, and I was saying in the past, Richie Matthews, a former swimmer, graduated in my class. He did a ton of recruiting last year, and he was able to get people from all over. Never really seen that before, besides other countries, like I was saying too. So it was really good to see that kind of flourish and Wheaton's name kind of getting out there a little bit more.
It's definitely should start being a program that's known nationally among the D3 swimming ranks after these last couple of seasons.
Yeah, for sure, especially on the women's side.
.820 into the women's 1,000. Vivian Van Hollen in the lead from the start, and she still has it in lane 5. Allie Taylor, second place, lane 2. Once again, all Wheaton swimmers here swimming in the women's 1,000. Nobody represented from Clark University. Turn it over to the men's 1,000 after this. Will be a balanced field between Clark and Wheaton in that event.
Interesting how they have the 500 as well in this lineup, as it is a shortened and modified meet.
Today almost feels like a calm before the storm tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I know. It always does. And every year, too, it's switch, right? So, like, we would go to Clark after training trip. Clark would come to us. Always felt like that, though.
Big one tomorrow, senior day. Right back here. In just over 24 hours, a noon start. The Babson Beavers come to town for the second consecutive year on senior day.
Yeah, definitely see some fast swims on both sides tomorrow, especially the males. Babson can hold their own for sure.
Yeah, it should be a great one tomorrow on both sides. Going to be an exciting day, and I'm sure this place will be packed to the brim. Smaller crowd on hand today, and credit that to students not being back for classes yet, and also it's a Friday at 11 o'clock, and people got to work.
Yep. I actually took today off from my 9 to 5. My birthday is coming up, so if I don't use my paid time off, I lose it. So here I am.
And what better place to spend it?
Exactly.
Van Hollen cruising in lane 5, approaching 11 minutes into the women's 1,000. There's that final horn, so Van Hollen on her last 50. Just has to go to the wall and back, and she'll wrap up what will be a start to finish victory over 3 of her own teammates.
She just kept just held that pace the entire time. Really didn't let up on the legs at all. Maybe in the middle a little bit, but solid effort, solid swim.
So Van Hollen to the wall out in lane 5, and she wraps up a rather dominant victory. 11:33 her time for first place in the women's 1,000. Allie Taylor second to the wall. 11:50 for the sophomore out of North Carolina. Jordan Jensen and Maddie King still finishing up in the pool for the Lions. We have updated scores after both the men's and women's 200 medley relay, and it's the same scores for both sides, both the men and women leading Clark 15-2. Once again, tune in to a separate video stream on the New Max Sports Network if you're looking for just diving, as Bella Barrett's on the 1 meter board right now, and you can go watch that with perfect video quality. Just click out of this video, then click on to the one that's titled Diving over on the New Max Sports Network. That wraps up the women's 1,000. Should be the Wheaton women's 1,000. Vivian Van Hollen, lane 5, with the big win by 17 seconds. Now flip over to the men's 1,000. Lucas Shapiro of Clark in lane 2. Aiden Carberry, lane 3 for the Lions. Alex Bilecki, lane 4 for Clark. William Chappell, lane 5 for Wheaton, and rounding out the pack in lane 6 for Clark, it's Rowan Compton. And they're into the pool. Men's 1,000 freestyle underway. 3 swimmers representing Clark, 2 for the home team. Austin, what's your ideal time in a meet like this on the men's side for the 1,000?
It depends on who's in the pool. Sean Hill is in here right now swimming, so I mean, I've never swam the 1,000 competitively. Of course I've swum tens of thousands of yards as practice a day, but I've never actually swam this competitively, so I really can't tell you a fast time. Is definitely under 10 minutes. That is a fast time. Everybody's looking to peak at the new max, right, time-wise? Exactly, and like I've been saying too, like everyone's tired coming off these doubles, and with new max and like championship meets, NCAAs and stuff like that, you're tapering down, so you're doing less and less yards basically every week, but you're doing higher intensity sprinting workouts, and that kind of trains fast twitch muscle to then shock your body when you're at that championship meet. It shocks your muscles basically into using all of them and gaining maximum strength, and that's called tapering. So it's very effective. Some people taper a lot better than others. Genetically and biologically, males always taper just better than females just because of mass, and it's all about muscle. So there's another fun fact. How important are the dryland workouts for swimmers? I would say dryland definitely depends on what you're focusing on, because when you add weights to a sport that has no gravity in its bulk of training, you're going to have more injury. You're more susceptible to injury like any lifting. So, you could probably speak to this too. Like, I would say though, like the gain for sprinting and lifting is very important, especially in the collegiate level because of maturity. Girls generally tend to mature faster in high school in swimming than males do. And then when males hit collegiate and start lifting heavy, they go fast. So there's a little give and take with that, but I would say you definitely want to be focusing on specific groups of muscles instead of lifting to lift for your whole body, if that makes sense. Because you're already training so hard and you're wearing and tearing your muscles in the pool. Like, why risk injury that way?
Yeah, swimming is just so unique, everything that goes into it to be your best.
Yeah, and it's also, it just depends on too, like collegiate's different because usually every collegiate program will have a lifting schedule, but for like I know a lot of swimmers that I've talked to that didn't have that same experience in club, and I was fortunate enough to have that experience where I had a dry landing club, I had lifting in club, I had a gym attached to the pool that I went to basically, so we incorporated that into our training, so I was used to it when I hit college. So it's kind of a shock sometimes to people that haven't lifted before because they don't know what they're doing, obviously. But that's what freshman year's for, is figuring it out, learning how to lift, and gaining muscle.
A lot of things going into development here, and Baird Roberts obviously does it the right way, has both of his teams swimming at a very high level, and right now we're about 4:15 in to the men's 1,000. A very tight race so far, lanes 4 and 5, between Bilecki of Clark and Chapel for the Lions. Will Chapel, the first year out of Worcester, was swimming against his hometown school today. Clark making the trip down this morning from the great city of Worcester.
I always forget Clark is located there. And I'm from Mass. Like, I've lived in Mass my whole life. And I always forget that they're there. I always think they're closer to Boston, kind of like where Emerson is, like by Fenway. Like, I don't know why.
And all you guys on the east coast of Massachusetts, just no concept. Once you go west of Boston, it just
literally
everything changes. It's a new world. You don't know where you are.
No, not at all. I feel like I know like Rhode Island more than I do Western Mass.
To throw a baseball to the other side of Rhode Island from one side.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
A little bit easier for you there.
Yeah.
Bilecki, 5.5 in. Let's say not even a half-length lead, and now Chapel's making it even closer as they come back in front of my vantage point. They're about even.
Yeah, I would say Bilecki has like a tiny little reach.
Maybe like a hand.
Yeah, right now.
To an
off his
elbow
walls.
length advantage for Bilecki in lane 4 for the Cougars.
Yeah, you can see off his walls, Bilecki's getting more power. But then the mid-pools, he's catching up to him basically. Bilecki is a super, super familiar name to me. He might have a brother that I swam against. I'm thinking about now. I seem to know.
Bilecki's a junior out of Tallinn, Connecticut.
Oh, he's a junior? Oh, definitely then. Okay.
Attended Tallinn High School, majoring in computer science at Clark.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, like, coming back and seeing younger kids that, like, I heard their names, you know, at these bigger meets that I went to and club and stuff. It's very, very fun to see them again and see where they go. And it's super interesting to see, like, a lot of them go to the new MAC. It's funny.
Very good conference to go swimming between Wheaton, MIT, Babson.
Yeah, Coast Guard, too.
Yep, can't leave them out. Bilecki widening that lead in lane 4 for Clark. Just over 7 minutes in to the men's 1,000. If you're just joining us, it's great to be with you for the first home meet since early November here in Balfour Natatorium. Jackson Walsh with my partner, as always, the great Austin Halstead. Is Alex Bilecki widening his lead over William Chapel in lanes 4 and 5. This will be the longest event we have the entire day.
Yeah, Jackson, I'm a little sad. Tomorrow could be the last time I'm on this broadcast. I hope I'm around next year. I really do.
I mean, I sure hope so too. I mean, it's been an awesome last 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. I wish it was, I wish I was able to do it longer.
Would not want it to end.
Maybe we can make something work via Zoom.
That's a possibility. Maybe if you just float around Norton too, you're always going to be welcome to put that headset on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bilecki still out in first place. He's going to have about a half of a pool's length lead over Chapel. Third place, lane 3, Aiden Carberry for the Lions. Carberry, junior out of Narragansett, Rhode Island. Down in Meg Dickinson territory. Good group of Rhode Island swimmers on both the men's and women's side.
I can only think of one off the top of my head for men. That would be Aiden. Carberry, if I'm not mistaken, who's in the pool right now.
You got one more. You called his name earlier. Putting you on the spot with this one.
Oh, boy. Now you're testing the brain. Boy. Who did I say? Gotta help me out here now.
Junior.
Oh, is Bilecki? No, Bilecki's not from Rhode Island, is he?
No.
Oh, okay. On Wheaton, though.
Yes, Wheaton male swimmer. Putting Austin on the spot here in the men's 1,000.
Oh, Ben Goho, right?
There you go.
Oh, okay, good. Whew.
Goho and Carberry, the two on the men's side out of Rhode Island. Then you have Garen Stone and Ann Sweeney out of Barrington, Rhode Island. Meg Dickinson out of South County.
Taylor Kudo.
Yep, Kutu also.
She's out of, oof. No,
I believe Providence. I know she went to Moses Brown.
Okay. I think she lives like close to the coast somewhere. Well, Rhode Island is all coast basically, but.
Yep, hometown of Providence. Attended the Moses Brown School on the east side of Providence.
Okay.
One of the best schools in the state. As on to the last 50 now. Bilecki of Clark running away with it in lane 4. It's going to be too much for Chapel to try and go catch him in lane 5. Last touch for Bilecki, and he takes the win in lane 4. 10:49.05 for Alex Bilecki, the junior from Clark. Rest of the swimmers still wrapping up here inside Balfour. Chapel lane 5, second on the wall, 11:06.31. Carberry third place. Lane 3, 11:02.59. So the field's wrapping up. Shapiro finishes up in lane 2 for the Cougars. And Compton in lane 6 for Clark as well. That'll wrap up the men's 1,000. Clark takes first place thanks to Alex Bilecki. Well, Wheaton grabbing second and third from Chapel and Carberry.
Definitely second and third outweighs first, so. Points-wise.
Points should continue to climb for both the men and women after that 1,000. Now I'll turn it over to the women's 200 free. Hope Campbell in lane 1. Sid Konchensparger in lane 2 for Clark. Leah Schultz in lane 3. Emily Munjar, lane 4 for Clark. Emily Eds, lane 5 for Wheaton. Sarah Kirsting Mum in lane 6 for Clark. Tally Dalton, lane 7 for Wheaton. And Ivy Joyle, lane 8 for the Cougars.
Ivy Joyle, another former club swimmer that I didn't swim with, but was on my team. I knew of her. That is very funny.
A lot of connections, always drawing back here inside Balfour Natatorium. First 25 wrapping up here.
Yeah, let's just say I did this swimming thing for a very long time.
Very, very long time indeed. Through the first 50, Wheaton with the lead in lane 5, it's Eds. Eds still in the lead, lane 5. Senior out of Orcutt, California. Ed's really lengthening that lead now. Second place, lane 3, belongs to Leah Schulte for Wheaton College. Third place, looks like out in lane 7, Dalton has it, but not far behind for Clark in lane 4, Emily Munjar. But Emily Eds, wow, really, really far out ahead of the rest of the pack.
Yeah, she's flying. Let's see if she can keep that tempo for this last 50 here.
Last 50 for Eds, monumental lead. for one of the shorter races, too. Really stretching that out. Still holding on to second place in lane 3. It's Schulte. Third place, lane 7 for the Lions. Tally Dalton. Have a chance here to go Wheaton 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ed's to the line first. Just over 2 minutes for the win.
Oh, yeah,
second
right
place, lane 3, Schulte.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 for the Lions. Third place taken out in lane 7 by Dalton. Then fourth place in lane 1 belongs to Hope Campbell. Dominant race start to finish for the Wheaton women, and that point total is just going to continue to climb. Senior out of California, Ed's leading the way this time.
I'm actually pretty excited to see what Andrew Tran can do right here in the 200.
Tran can absolutely fly. Now turning it over to the men's 200 free. Wheaton in lanes 2, 3, 5, and 6. Minichiello in 2, Tran in 3, Garno 5, Wilson 6. Lone swimmer for Clark, Nick Cordell in lane 4. First year out of Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Such a beautiful start. Andrew Tran. Come on, he's got to pick up that tempo a little bit.
Tran in lane 3, Garno in lane 5.
Yeah, Will's not going to let him.
Pretty close to each other.
Yeah, Will's not going to let him beat him, Andrew. He's going to try his hardest. He's like looking at Andrew.
Garno just holding that lead over Tran in lane 5. Right with him, though, in third place in lane 6. It's Brody Wilson. Wilson, the first year out of Conway, Arkansas. Garno still in the lead, lane 5. Tran just trailing him in lane 3.
Yeah, Garno's splitting a little bit faster. Right now he's 27 high. Tran's 28 low. So let's see if Will dies here. This last 50, maybe Tran has a chance. See that turn, though. Oh, boy.
It's still just barely Garno over Tran, then Wilson in lane 6, Minichiello lane 2. Cordell trailing the rest of them in lane 4 for the Cougars.
I mean, regardless of like who's going to come out on top here, like both of these times are going to be really fast. So
Garno still holding on to that lead rather comfortably, I'd say. Tran going to try to make it up. It's not going to matter points-wise, though, whoever wins. And Garno.
Yeah, that's solid.
150-2-2, first place, lane 5. Tran, second place, lane 3, 151.88. So just over a second behind Garno. Third place, lane 6, it's Wilson. And then 1, 2, 3, and 4 this time for the Wheaton men. Minichiello rounds out the Wheaton field in lane 2. Fourth place, 159.05, Cordell for Clark. Finishing in 5th in lane 4.
Yeah, 150, 151, super solid. Especially after like what I've been saying this whole time, like after this training, it's so tough to go in season best / close to those. So
now on to the women's 50 free. Quickest events of the day. There's going to be 2 heats on the women's side, just one on the men's. First heat, Laurel Mitchell, lane 3 for Wheaton. Chaparryan in lane 4 for Clark. And Allison Kramer rounding out the pack in lane 5 for the Lions. Lane 3 right now with the lead, Laurel Mitchell. Mitchell, a first year out of Rutland, Massachusetts.
that must be out west. I have no idea where that is.
It's got to be then if you can't point it out on a map. Flying on the first of 2 heats for the women's 50 with the win. In lane 3, we just talked about her, Laurel Mitchell. Second place, lane 5, Allison Kramer. Chaparral. Third place, lane 4 for the Cougars. We'll now turn it over to the scoring heat. Heat 2 of 2 for the women's 50 free. Collins in lane 2 for Clark. Finite, lane 3 for Wheaton. McLeod, lane 4 for Clark. Amelia Butler, lane 5 for Wheaton. Steffens, lane 6 for Clark. And Simone swimming for the second time today. She's in lane 7 for the Lions. Watch out for Butler in lane 5. Also Finite in lane 3. Probably the 2 fastest swimmers in the pool, and they're flying right now.
Yeah, literally flipped at the same exact time.
Really, really tight between
Amelia
Finite
has it by
and
a
Butler.
tiny little bit. Just a slight tad bit. Holy moly.
And just like you said, it's barely Amelia Butler with the win. Junior out of New York City. First place in the women's 50 free, 25-26.
Solid time.
Finite just behind her. Second place, lane 3, 25-45. And make that another Wheaton College sweep. Megan Simone in lane 7, second place, 27-01. Now on to event 9. Oh, excuse me. Flipped the page a little too quick there. Event 8. The men's 50 free. Noah Kaplan, lane 1, Wheaton. Twyman, lane 2. Clark. Larson, lane 3 for the Lions. Bagyum, lane 4 for Clark. Lopez, probably the fastest swimmer out there, lane 5 for the Lions. Broderick, lane 6 for Clark. And Sean Hill, lane 7 for the Lions. First 25 and
Wow.
3 through 4 in terms of lanes. It can't be much closer. Lopez now starting to pull away. Not surprised by that.
That was great.
Anton Lopez, lane 5. Knifing through that pool.
Yeah.
22-3-6 winning time for the sophomore out of Oakland, California.
Yeah, that was great discipline shown by Lopez there. He didn't breathe on his last 25, and that is key in a 50. If you breathe on that last 25, you're not gonna go fast. It's a dice roll.
Second place is taken by Clark. Bagyum in lane 4 for the Cougars. Third place, lane 7, Sean Hill for Wheaton College.
It's a 2 IM.
Yep, now on to the women's 2 IM. Meg Dickinson, lane 2. Madeline Eller, lane 3. Amelia Kulzer, lane 4, the lone swimmer for Clark. And then lanes 5 through 7 all for the Lions. Lily Watson, Brooke Clucci, and Karis Mann. Top seed time coming into this. Lily Watson at 2:13.56. We'll see if that plays true for the rest of the race.
Yeah, Lily's
She's
just
out in
dominant.
first place through the first 25.
Lily's just dominant in all the strokes she swims. Just super shoulder heavy fly. So powerful.
Watson took home some accolades up in Waterville, Maine for the Maine Collegiate Invitational. Came back to Norton holding the school record in the 100 IM.
That's right. I forgot about that one. See, this is why I have you here. You're my numbers guy.
Good balance between the swim analysis and then me just looking at a piece of paper.
Yeah. I don't pay attention clearly.
Watson on the backstroke, still in the lead, lane 5.
This is where Eller and Clucci are going to really shine, and Dickinson. This is where Watson struggles the most. See, Clucci's already tempoing up here. She knows. She wants to keep Madeline off, too.
Brooke Clucci in lane 6 for Wheaton. She's in second place right now behind Lily Watson. Clucci, the senior out of Lewiston, Maine. Now on to the freestyle. Watson still in the lead. Clucci, second place, lane 6. Third place belongs to lane 3, Madeline Eller. Watson still in the lead, showing why she holds the school record in the 100 IM. But still getting it done here in the 200 IM.
Do we have a diving break after the men?
Yep, we will. And
Okay.
taking home the win right there, Lily Watson, as expected. 2:15.15, the winning time in lane 5. Here for the women's 200 IM, second place, lane 3, Madeline Eller for the Wheaton College Lions, and make that another Wheaton sweep with Brooke Clucci out in lane 6. Third place for the senior out of Lewiston. Now on to the men's 200 IM. No Clark representation in this event. All Wheaton College, lane 3, Caden Gilbert, Brian Hickson, lane 4, Gavin Cullen in lane 5, Ben Goho, lane 6.
Oh, this is stacked.
A little fun in-team competition here for the men's 200 IM. Updated scores through event 8, which was the men's 50 free. And good news for Wheaton on both sides. On the women's side, Wheaton 47, Clark 8. For the men, Wheaton 52, Clark 51. Clark 21. All signs showing another Wheaton College victory, both on the men's and women's side. Women trying to keep their dual meet and tri-meet record perfect, have yet to lose this season. But obviously a big test in store tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely a big test on the men's side, and definitely a lesser, but still a big test on the women's side. Babson definitely shows up on the men's side. I remember that fondly.
Men's 200 IM right now in the lead, lane 5. Gavin Cullinan. Cullinan, the first year out of Cumming, Georgia. Part of a first-year class on the men's side that is going to make a lasting impact in 4 years here at Norton, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just seeing how fast these freshmen are going this year, it's crazy.
Hickson not far behind Cullinan, though. Right behind him in lane 4.
Yep.
And trailing the pack, Goho in lane 6, Caden Gilbert lane 3.
Yeah, Hickson right up on the lane line here. Look at this.
Coming down to the last 25 now.
That is drafting at its finest. And he moved all the way over. Cullinan's like having enough of that.
Cullinan and Hickson neck and neck.
Hey, look at that.
And there goes Brian Hickson, a little late comeback victory over his buddy out in lane 5, Cullinan. First place, Brian Hickson, lane 4, 2:02.06. Cullinan, 2:03. 16, just over a second behind him. Then Goho, third place. Gilbert takes fourth place. And Wheaton on the men's and women's side, dominating over Clark right now. Tune in to diving over on that separate feed on your NewMax Sports Network homepage. We'll step away momentarily here on the NewMax Sports Network. Back live inside Balfour Natatorium. Jackson Walsh with Austin Halstead. It's Clark and Wheaton, first home meet of the second semester. First meet in general of the second semester here for the Lions, and they're having some success right now, both on the men's and women's side. Big leads for both the men and women in the point categories over Clark. Back from break, we'll kick it off with the women's 100 fly. There's going to be 2 heats of this event. First one just about to start up in lane 3 for the Lions, Allie McHenrick. Lane 4 for Clark, Ainsley Blair. And lane 5 for Wheaton, it's Alexa Leary. Into the pool, and there's 25. It's McHenrick with a lead in lane 3 for Wheaton. McHenrick, the sophomore out of Wayne, Pennsylvania. Still holding that lead in lane 3
nice
over Clark's Blair and Wheaton's and Wheaton's Leary.
See if she can push those underwaters one more time off this wall. That's what's really been helping her right now.
That's 25 for McHenrick, and she's going to cruise to what looks like will be an easy win here in the 100 fly, heat 1 of 2. An hour into today's meet. That's going to be shorter than most meets, as McHenrick in lane 3 makes it look easy in lane 3 for the win.
Yeah, I looked at the time. I thought I was like hallucinating for a second. 11:59. We're almost done.
Winning time in lane 3 for Allie McHenrick, 1:05.49 for the sophomore. Now turn us over to the women's 100 fly, heat 2 of 2. In lane 2 for Clark, Hannah Palois. Lane 3 for Wheaton, Alexa DeCenzo. Lane 4 for Clark, Sid Kokensbarger. Lane 5, the very talented Katie Walls. Lane 6 for Clark, Ivy Joyle. And lane 7 rounding out the pack for Wheaton, it's Anna Curry. Watch out for Walls in lane 5. You were just going to say that,
yeah,
I'm sure.
I was just about to say, like, Katie has such an advantage just off of her start. Like, she just has such quick, like, reaction time to the flash. It's crazy.
Walls in lane 5, one of the top swimmers in all the land. Way back in November, she was named NUMAC Women's Swimmer of the Week. The honor is also brought home by Reese Hartman way back in November as well.
Yeah, and you can see just like how much glide she has on her kick. Like, she's just generating so much power on her pull that she doesn't even have to like use her legs that much. It's kind of wild.
Walls absolutely dominant in everything that she does in a pool. And
wow,
what's new? Katie Walls.
All right.
Under 1 minute.
Okay.
59.80 for the win in lane 5 in the women's 100 fly. Second place in lane 3, Alexa DeCenzo. Third place, lane 7, Anna Curry. Another sweep for the Wheaton woman. Just keep racking up the points here inside Balfour Natatorium. Now on to the men's 100 fly. 2 heats of this as well. First heat, lane 3 for the Lions, Anthony Meglin of Wheaton. For Clark in lane 4, Luca Shapiro. And Evan Domingos in lane 5 for Wheaton College.
Very rarely do I see Evan swim fly, so I'm very excited to see this. He's a backstroker.
Evan Domingos, the senior out of Hampton, New Hampshire. Swam at Winnicott Regional High School up in coastal New Hampshire. Just nestled in between the North Shore of Massachusetts and southern Maine.
Yep, not too far from me. I've surfed with Evan many a times. Great kid.
Great kid and a great swimmer. As him, Anthony Meglin, and Lucas Shapiro all neck and neck through the first 50 here in heat 1 of 2 for the men's 100 fly.
Tony's got to up his tempo just a tiny little bit. Got to nail this wall. Keep him in the race a little slow.
Still right in it, though.
Yep.
Clark in the lead with Shapiro in lane 4. Meglin Domingo's going to try to catch him, but Lucas Shapiro of Clark steps up and takes the win in heat 1 for the men's 100 fly. Shapiro, first year out of New York City. Swam at Eleanor Roosevelt High School. And was just going to give you his winning time in lane 4, but some technical difficulties making his time show up at 1:17.17, but that time was under a minute.
Yeah, that's weird. It's almost like the lane 3 timer kind of got his time instead. That's weird.
Sort that out, but count on that being a Lucas Shapiro win for Clark in lane 4. Now on to heat 2, the scoring heat for the men's 100 fly. Alex Bilecki, lane 2 for Clark. For Wheaton in lanes 3, 5, and 7 is Braxton Farron, Sean Hill, and Brody Wilson. They're off heat 2 of the men's 100 fly. Event 14 of the day, and with an early advantage in lane 5, it's Sean Hill.
Hill just got such long distance, but look at Braxton here. I was just about to say Hill's underwaters and his turns are insane, but Braxton can push him too, so.
Hill still in the lead through the first 50 in lane 5. Sophomore out of Ellsworth, Maine. Second place, looks like it's lane 3 right now with Farron.
Yep.
Also in the mix out in lane 7 is Brody Wilson. Coming down the stretch and cruising his way to a victory. Sean Hill in lane 5 for the Lions, 55-11.
Yeah, solid.
Good time for the win for the sophomores. Second place, lane 3. As I was saying, Braxton Farron takes it home. And then third place is going to go to Clark in lane 4 with Twyman. Bernard Twyman, the senior out of Lafayette, California, takes third place for the Cougars. Now on to event 15, the women's 100 free. Heat 1 features 3 swimmers. Simone in lane 3 of Wheaton. Lance Siddle in lane 4 for Clark. And in lane 5, Laura Molesworth for the Wheaton College Lions. Buzzer sounds and they're into the pool. First 25, barely in the lead, it looks like. Simone in lane 3, but right there with her teammate Molesworth in lane 5. Trailing them is Lance Siddle in lane 4 for Clark. Absolutely cruising in lane 3, Megan Simone. Not far behind her, Molesworth in lane 5.
It's a solid time.
Winning time in lane 3 for Simone, under 1 minute, 59.68. Lane 5, Molesworth, 1 minute flat, 7/8 of a second. Behind them in third, Lance Hiddle for the Clark Cougars. Now on to the scoring heat, heat 2. Lane 2 for Clark, Wine Collins. Lane 3 for Wheaton, Bridget Cleveland. Hannah McLeod, lane 4 for the Cougars. Lane 5, Garen Stone for Wheaton. Steffens, lane 6 for Clark. And Lambert Shimo, lane 7 for Wheaton. Tightly contested lanes 3, 5, and 7 between Cleveland, Stone, and Steffens. Excuse me, that's Lambert Shimo in 7. Steffens in lane 6 for Clark. Stone looks to be the front runner right now in lane 5.
Yeah, watch out for Bridget, though.
Cleveland in lane 3, not far behind Stone.
Yeah, if she nailed that turn, that would have been it, but Bridget.
Stone, lane 5, swims her way to a victory.
Nice.
Winning time, 56.17. For the first year out of Barrington, Rhode Island, second place. First year from New Jersey, Bridget Cleveland, 57.05. Third place in lane 7, Lambert Shimo. Another first year, she's out of Ohio. Now flip the page, event 16. Men's 100 free, almost said 1,000. Already wrapped that up early on in the day. Liam Hill in lane 1 of Wheaton. Of Clark, Will Mahan, lane 2 for the Lions. Lane 3, Will Chappell. Bagyum in lane 4 for Clark. Carberry, lane 5 for Wheaton. Broderick, lane 6 for Clark. And Luis Bonetti rounding out the pack in lane 7 for the Lions.
All about arm speed and leg speed here. You just got to sprint.
Clark with the advantage of the first 25. That's Bagyum. Bagyum of Clark, swimming at a very good pace. Senior out of Barrington, Rhode Island. About 40 minutes south of where we are in Norton.
And he's breathing every stroke, too. He's just going. That's a strategy. Doesn't work for everyone.
Bagyum, very big lead for the Cougars in lane 4, something I have not said much today. In second place, going to try to catch him, but running out of time. In lane 5 is Carberry.
Ooh, that's solid.
And Gore Bagyum. Lane 4 for Clark, the senior, 49.72, breaks 50 seconds for the win. A very, very fast time. Second place, Carberry, lane 5, 52.36. Third place in lane 1, Liam Hill for the Lions.
Yeah, that's an example of just weightlifting. Just senior looks like he lifts, obviously. So that's just, I mean, the 50 and the 100 free especially, you're going to get those big guys. That's what they're made for.
Bagyum with a win for Clark in the men's 100 free. Now on to the women's 100 back. Isabel Chesley for Wheaton in lane 1. Chapari in lane 2 for Clark. Leah Schulte lane 3 for Wheaton. Munjar lane 4. Reese Hartman lane 5. Wouldn't be surprised if she won this one.
Yeah.
Amelia Colzer lane 6 for Clark. Allie Taylor lane 7 for Wheaton. And Gusta Vasson in lane 8, rounding out the pack for Clark. And not much to my surprise, Reese Hartman out in the lead.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to give Reese a run for her money in this one.
Sophomore out of East Grand Rapids, Michigan. Her specialty, the backstroke, and she has dominated it. in pretty much every meet she's had in her collegiate career, which isn't even halfway done yet.
Yeah, it's so impressive. I mean, you can just see, like, she has textbook backstroke. Like, her whole torso is not moving while, I'm sorry, her head is not moving while her torso is moving. That is textbook.
Hartman cruising to a victory. Second place right now for Clark. It's Munjar.
Yeah. Wow.
Hartman 101.42 for the win in lane 5. Second place Munjar. Lane 4 for Clark 105.65. Third place lane 3 Schulte for Wheaton. Reese Hartman getting it done again and again. Beyond impressive what she's been doing at her time in Norton.
Yeah, it would be really, really exciting to see her at New Max. I'm assuming NCAAs. Don't know if she's made it yet. That's something that you probably would know more than me.
I know we're closing in on the time where it could be obvious where could find out if she's qualified for it or not.
Yeah,
I know she did last year.
Yeah.
I believe they sent
Super
9
early.
swimmers to
Yeah.
the NCAAs. Hartman being one of them as a first year.
Yep. Man, I don't know if there was any other first years last year.
Katie Walls, I believe, went.
Yes, you're right. Yep.
Now on to the men's 100 back. Once again, nobody from Clark swimming on the men's side of this one. All 3 swimmers out of Wheaton, lane 4. Lopez, lane 5. Tran, and lane 6. Hickson. 3 of the top swimmers on the men's side, all going head-to-head here in the 100 back.
Yeah, Trent showed that he can really just do any stroke and just be pretty dominant. Even through his peers, like swimming against his peers right now, like people that he's training with every day, probably swimming backstroke sets with. He's a breaststroker, though. He's fast. He's going to be really, really fast senior year.
Tran in lane 5. Full-length lead over his 2 teammates, and he's cruising to a win. 54.15 for Tran. Second place, lane 4, Lopez. Third place, Hickson in lane 6.
Yeah, that's a super, super solid time. Andrew Tran, I mean all of them, but almost going 53. Oof.
What a showing from Tran there. We're now on to the women's 500 free. Last longish event we'll have for the day. Field for that. Kuto, lane 2 for Wheaton. We talked about earlier, the senior out of Providence. Kat Foster, lane 3. Kirsting Mum, lane 4 for Clark. For Wheaton again, Dalton, lane 5. Coach and Sparger, lane 6 for Clark. And Finite, lane 7 for the Lions. Look ahead for both sides. Clark will be back in action tomorrow, just like Wheaton. They'll host Trinity and what I believe to be St. Joseph's of Connecticut.
Okay.
Not specified between that or St. Joe's of Maine, but Trinity and St. Joe's of Connecticut, both from similar areas, so I believe those will be the 2 teams going up to Worcester tomorrow for a 1 o'clock start, and we've talked about it a lot today. We'll have a 12 o'clock start here inside Balfour Natatorium for Senior Day against the Babs and Beavers. Here in the women's 500, lane 3 with the lead. At the moment, it's Kat Foster, junior out of Weston, Connecticut. Not far behind her, though, in lane 7, it's Finite. Dalton in lane 5, she's in 3rd. Kuto of Wheaton in lane 2, she sits in 5th. 4th place belongs to Clark's Kirsting Mum in lane 4. Right now, it's still Kat Foster in lane 3 in the lead for Wheaton. I've updated scores through event 16 as well, which was the men's 100 free. So not updated on the last two 100 backs for both teams, but pretty up-to-date scores. On the women's side, Wheaton 107, Clark 20. On the men's side, Wheaton 101, Clark 35. So just pure dominance on both sides. Kat Foster still about neck and neck with Finite. Out in lane 7.
Yeah, they are pretty synced right now. I'd say Kat has her on the turns right now, but yeah, you really never realize how important turns are in these longer events. Like, you always think, at least I always think, for a 50, a turn is crucial, because if you mess up a turn in a 50, you only have one of them, right? So you can't come back from that. So I never really thought about these longer distance events having crucial turns, but you can see now Finite's pulling ahead. Kat slowed down a tiny little bit into the wall, so.
That's Elle Finite out in lane 7, starting to pull ahead over the junior Foster in lane 3. Elle Finite, the first year out of Longmont, Colorado. Out in first place in lane 7 in the women's 500 free as we hit the 4-minute mark. Looks like third place belongs to Dalton in lane 5. So first through third at the moment, all belonging to the Lions. Finite lengthening that lead out in lane 7 as we speak. There's the buzzer, and Finite's onto her final 50. We come up on 5 minutes in the women's 500 free.
Yeah, you can see Kat lost a tiny little bit of steam. Probably around the 400 mark, maybe the 350. Finite just held the tempo and just was able to pull through a little bit faster.
There goes Finite out in lane 7. Top of your screen there. Let's take home the win in the women's 500 free with a time of 5:22.60. The first year out of Longmont, Colorado. Battle for third going on as Kat Foster took second place in lane 3, just above 5.5, and third place goes lane 5, Tally Dalton. First through third, another sweep for the Wheaton College Lions as they just continue to dominate every single event. Time for Dalton, third place in lane 5. 5:49.1. Once again, it was Finite, Foster, Dalton, first through third for the Wheaton women here in the 500 free. Scores continuing to climb on both the men's and women's side. As We come on to event 20. The men's 500 free, Caden Gilbert, Gavin Cullinan, both from Wheaton in lanes 2 and 3. Bilecki, lane 4 for Clark. Garneau, lane 5 for the Lions. Compton, lane 6 for Clark. Minichiello, lane 7 out of Wheaton. And Cordell rounds out the pack in lane 8 for Clark.
A little fast there on the start for the official.
Not calling anybody back or DQing anyone.
No, but like I meant like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the
like,
official
from
just
the
got
time
on it.
of
Okay.
step up to like get ready was very fast. That's not usually how it is. Sometimes it's just, and then that will cause people to flinch, and then they'll get DQ'd. Yes, but if something like. Swimmers just are trained to like see that flash and hear that bell, right? And like it kind of becomes a pattern, like how long the officials will wait in between, like take your mark and go. So it's kind of consistent, but like sometimes if it's not, it creates kind of confusion on the block sometimes.
Just under a minute in lane 5 for the lead for Wheaton. It's Will Garneau. Second place, lane 3 for the Lions. That's Gavin Cullinan. Third place, not far behind Cullinan, right next to him in lane 2. It's Caden Gilbert. Gilbert, the sophomore out of Cape Elizabeth, Maine. Austin, a lot of these athletes have been, obviously the winter sport athletes have it different than athletes that aren't winter sport athletes. A lot of them have been back since right before New Year's.
Yep.
What's the experience like being on campus, pretty much just practicing, and then, what are you doing the rest of the way? Nobody's there. I'm not sure how much of the school is open. You don't have schoolwork to do. What's that experience like?
Yeah, so the first 4 days, so Barrett makes the team come back before training trip. If you live not like close to Wheaton, then you're able to stay home through New Year's and then just fly to Florida because like why pay for 2 flights? So that 4 days, the dining halls aren't open. You're on your own. The school gives you X amount of money. It depends on the year, honestly. But the school gives you X amount of dollars to spend on groceries, and you're basically on your own for 4 days cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the kitchens of your dorm. And then once you get to training trip, obviously the coaches take care of the meals. And then when you're back, the dining halls are open again. So it's a little bit weird, that first 4 days. But it's like I said a little while ago, January and like training trip is like really good for team building because everyone's together, everyone's going through it at the same time. So it's yeah, like I said, it's very good team building, creates good atmosphere. And like it makes people swimmer faster at these kind of meets, like these kind of grueling after crazy doubles for 2 weeks straight, basically. Yeah, it's a grind, but it's good for the team.
Looks like it's paying dividends, that all that training put in right now, both on the men's and women's side. Right now we have the men's 500 free. And it's tight out in lanes 3 and 5 between Cullinan in 3 and Garneau in 5. Approaching 4 minutes in after this. We'll take one more quick break. And then not much left to go after that. After the break, we'll have the men's and women's 100 breaststroke, and then we're on to the women's and then the men's 200 free relay to wrap things up for the day.
I'd say about 15 minutes after the break. I'm giving my guesstimate based on how many heats.
Saying this all today, one of the shorter meets, but gear up tomorrow.
Yep.
It's going to be energetic. It's going to be loud.
Yep.
And this place will be standing room only.
Yeah, senior day is definitely a day to look forward to be an audience member, to be on the team, recognizing seniors and all their hard work that they put in throughout the 4 years. A bunch of the alum come and support, so I'm sure that I'll see familiar faces tomorrow here up in the stands, so I'm excited for
all
that.
around cool experience tomorrow. And right now in lane 5 with that lead is Will Garno. He's going to get to
Nice
the wall.
finish.
Looks like we had buzzer little action malfunction, I
Yeah.
should say, on that last 50.
Yeah, the officials might have just forgot. I didn't hear it.
Bit of a surprise finish there. Just over 5 minutes, but a win in lane 5 for the Lions. Taken home by Will Garno. In lane 3, second place, Gavin Cullen. In third place, the sophomore, Caden Gilbert, takes it. First through third for the Wheaton men. Coming down the stretch here inside Balfour. One more quick break and then 4 more events to go here. It's Wheaton versus Clark on the Newmax Sports Network. Pretty close to wrapping it up here inside Balfour Natatorium. Last 4 events, 2 for the women, 2 for the men. We'll start it off. Event 23, the women's 100-yard breaststroke in lane 2 for the Lions. Alexa DeCenzo, lane 3 for Wheaton, Meg Dickinson. Anna Polos in lane 4 for Clark. Madeline Eller, lane 5 for Wheaton. Kenzie Landsiddle, lane 6 for Clark. And then rounding out the pack for Wheaton in lane 7 and 8, Maddie Curran and Ann Sweeney. This will be followed by the men's 100 breaststroke and then women's 200 free relay and men's 200 free relay. We're underway in the women's 100 breaststroke. Last couple of events left to go here inside Balfour Natatorium. Early lead in lane 5, Madeline Eller.
Yeah, Madeline just displays really, really nice pullouts, especially off her start. She just gets so far.
Eller out of Lake Oswego, Oregon.
Yeah, watch out for Meg Dickinson. A little short. That turn there.
Dickinson, the junior, in lane 3 out of North Kingstown, Rhode Island. Wheaton first, second, and third. Eller, lane 5, Dickinson, lane 3. And then in lane 2, DeCenzo.
Eller's going to go a solid time here.
Eller.
7 high.
Last stretch, and she'll touch the wall first at 107.98. Dickinson second, DeCenzo third. Lanes 3 and 2 respectively, 109.58 for Dickinson, DeCenzo 111.96. First through third, another sweep for the Wheaton women. It'll now be the men's turn in the 100 breaststroke. Brian Hickson for the Lions in lane 1. Also for Wheaton in lanes 3, 5, and 7. Aiden Carberry, Ben Goho, Noah Kaplan for Clark, lanes 2, 4, 6, and 8. Will Mahan, Tyler Broderick, Bernav Twyman, and Luca Shapiro. Men are into the pool and underway in the 100 breaststroke. Top seed time coming into this belongs to Ben Goho, 1 minute, 73 tenths of a second for the junior out of Rhode Island. And right now he's in the lead in lane 5, giving him a run for his money, though. His teammate in lane 1, Brian Hickson, also in contention. Out in lane 7, Noah Kaplan.
Yeah, Goho already showing he's the better of the two. Kaplan's not too far behind him, though. Goho's got to really push it here. I can see he's slowing down a tiny bit into this wall. He's just got a little slow on that turn, too. Kaplan.
Goho still in the lead, though, in lane 5. And it's really tight in lanes 7, 3, and 1 right now. But Goho, the clear-cut favorite, as he comes to the wall for a win. In the men's 100 breaststroke, first place, lane 5. Ben Goho. Second's going to go to Kaplan in lane 7. Third place, lane 3 for Aiden Carberry. Winning time for Goho in lane 5, 101.32. It'll now take us to our final 2 events of the day. The women's and then the men's 200 free relay. Wheaton on the women's side will kick it off. They'll be represented in lanes 2 and 3, along with 5, 7, and 8 Clark in lanes 4 and 6. Pretty balanced attack between all of the lanes here for Wheaton, it looks like. That lane 5 team could be the favorite, though. Amelia Butler will kick things off. Will be followed by Bridget Cleveland, Kat Foster, and Katie Walls.
Yeah, I'd say that's your favorite.
We're underway with the women's 200 free relay, the last event for the women before they'll be back in action tomorrow at noon. Butler, lane 5. She starts it off, but right there with her in lane 3. Lily Watson kicking it off for the Wheaton team. 2 front runners as they'll turn it over lane 5. It'll be Bridget Cleveland. Lane 3, Vivian Van Hollen, 2 first years going head to head for 50 meters. Just completely changed my point of measurement there. That's 50 yards.
Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that, to be honest.
So they come to the end of their 50 yards. Kat Foster into the pool, lane 5. She'll start off with a slight edge over Garen Stone in lane 3. Third place out in lane 7. That's another Wheaton team. Allison Kramer swimming the third leg. Foster still with the lead, lane 5, about a half length of the pole to go. Still trailed by Stone in lane 3. Fourth place, lane 2 for Wheaton right now, Allie Taylor. The anchor in lane 5 into the pool. Katie Walls, it's going to be hard to catch her if you're Laurel Mitchell in lane 3. Still third place out in lane 7 for Wheaton anchoring is Jordan Jensen. And in fourth place, right in front of us, lane 2, anchored by Karis Mann. And it's going to be Katie Walls in the lane 5 team, running away with a win in the women's 200 free relay to end their day.
Yeah.
Wheaton first, second, and third. Also make that fourth and fifth. Excuse me, it's going to be Clark in fifth in lane 4. Winning time in lane 5, 1:41.82. About 4 seconds behind him in second place in lane 3. Laurel Mitchell anchoring with a time of 1:45.93. Now on to the world famous men's 200 free relay to end our day here between Wheaton and Clark. In lane 3, Wheaton. Lane 4, Clark. Lane 5, Wheaton. Lane 6, Clark. And lane 7, Wheaton. The favorites in lane 5, Will Larson, followed by Gavin Cullen and Sean Hill and Braxton Farron.
There we go. It'll be a race for sure.
First 25, it's very close in lane 5 and 4 between Clark and Wheaton. Lane 5 with Larson. Bagamian in lane 4 for Clark, arguably their top swimmer. Now second leg for the Lions. Lane 5, Gavin Cullinan. He's trailed by Twyman of Clark.
Yeah, Cullinan had the dominant relay start there. They both touch at the same time, but you can see how much more of the body length Cullinan has now.
Now fighting for second place in lane 7. It was started by Alex Minichiello. Now Caden Gilbert will turn it over to Liam Hill, and swimming a third leg with the lead in lane 5. It's Sean Hill. Sean Hill in that lane 5 team with a huge lead.
Yeah.
And safe to say in second place for Clark, lane 4, Tyler Broderick. The anchor in lane 5 for the Lions, Braxton Farron.
That was a beautifully timed relay exchange by Farron there.
Second place for the Lions, anchored by Meglin in lane 7. And now Wheaton moving into third as well. In lane 3, Andrew Tran anchoring,
Nice.
but a big win for both the men and women. It'll be capped off. Lane 5, Braxton Farron anchors a win in the men's 200 free relay. This team just does not lose in this event.
Wow, 133 too. Wow. That is a fast in season. They were all going like 21s.
We were just saying in Austin, very fast time for the win in lane 5, 133.9. And that is going to wrap up our day. Don't have the exact final scores at this second, but it's going to be a blowout win on both the men's and women's side for the Wheaton College Lions, as a bit of a stepping stone as they head into a very, very big meet tomorrow when they host Babson College for a noon start right here, same place, for Senior Day. We'll turn up the volume so you can hear the final scores announced, but don't go anywhere. Post-game here from Balfour, I should say post-meet actually, post-meet from Balfour Natatorium. Coming up next, stay with us. Wheaton women 164, Clark 65. And 126-69, a win for the Wheaton College men. Those are your final scores. Don't go anywhere. Post-meet interviews coming up on the NewMax Sports Network. For Austin Halstead and Jackson Walsh, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with Austin, but don't go anywhere. You'll hear from the athletes next. Post-game here inside Balfour Natatorium after a big win for the Lions over Clark University. I'm joined by Megan Simone. Megan, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First of all, great meet today. What was it like getting back into competition mode after having, over a month off? So what's the feeling of that like?
It's always fun to start racing again. After, pretty tough couple weeks of training, it's good mentally to get back and swim fast. It's not like the time to focus on what times you're going, but I had a lot of fun. It was a good meet.
Yeah, you just talked about the training. I know you guys were down in Florida for about a week. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm a senior this year, and we haven't been on training trips since my freshman year, so only the seniors have ever been. It was like a little bit nostalgic almost because we haven't been in so long. It was so much fun to be able to be around the team more often and to get to do, we do a lot of hard sets in Florida because it's, mentally easier to do a really hard thing when you're in the sunshine. But we also had a lot of fun, played some volleyball, played some other games.
Yeah, it seems like you guys had a blast down there. I talked about it on the broadcast today, kind of the calm before the storm today. What's it going to be like tomorrow? What's the mentality going into senior day? It's going to be your senior day, too.
Yeah.
Big one against Babson. What's that going to be like?
Personally, I'm going into it similarly. It's not it's a bigger meet because it's a senior meet, but it's not the time to focus on times right now, so I think it'll be more focusing on the people that I spent the last 4 years with and making sure that there's always some bittersweet feelings because it's the last home meet and it's they're dedicating it to us, but I'm excited to see what the underclassmen have planned.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's going to be a fun day. Great job today. Thanks for joining me, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Now, turning it over to Evan Domingos. Evan, great job today. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just talked about it with Megan. First time you guys had competed since you were up at Colby all the way back, first couple days of December. What's it like getting back into the swing of things with competition-like settings?
Well, we just put together a pretty good block of training for about 2 weeks without really a day off. And so we were obviously moving pretty quick doing that. But, it's a lot of training and you get tired. But it was good to show back up and, race. And so it's a little bit, kind of shaking off the rust. But I thought everyone did their job today. And, awesome meet.
Yeah, first time you guys have been down in Siesta Key since 3 years ago.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. What was it like getting back down there? I know a lot of training going on, a lot of hanging out. How was that experience for you?
I mean, we're doing the same thing down there we would be here, and so it's nice to be able to get a little bit of sun, get outside. And the intensity down there is different. That's only thought in your mind is swimming. And it was nice to see the team really, really come together through that week. And lots of just great work, especially all of these guys down here.
Yep. Yeah, you guys, I've talked about it a lot this year, a very, very improved team, and a huge one for you tomorrow, senior day, Babson. What's the key to trying to maybe pull off a win in that meet, and also what's it going to be like having senior day back here inside Balfour Natatorium?
I mean, as far as tomorrow goes, but it's always just swim. Yep. I mean, you got on the block, and everyone on this team I like to think would swim the exact same against anyone. It's all about just going and doing your job, and I think this team does that very, very well, better than other teams. So that's what that's about. So as far as tomorrow goes, same thing. The strategy's up to Barrett.
Yep.
I'm not calling those shots.
Yep.
And so he obviously has a plan, to improve, tip the odds in our favor there. And as far as senior day goes, it's just awesome to be able to celebrate all the work that all the people on this team have done over 4 years. It's been a long 4 years, and it's just good to be able to show that off.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day. I'm looking forward to it, and good luck tomorrow, Evan. Thanks for joining me. Great job today.
Thank you.
For the NewMax Sports Network in Wheaton College, I'm Jackson Walsh. We'll see you back at noon tomorrow, senior day against Babson. Have a good day.